Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, via Zoom is
Matthew Bloodhound Haas. No, that's a terrible nickname. It's on point for the theme.
Yeah.
Of the but no, I don't want to be. It's like what, like an old, like 1930s like gangster, nickname would be. Like, I got my Tommy gun and I'm gonna make sure I got this big barrel of whiskey to sell up the Canadian border because prohibition. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, that's exactly what he would say too.
Let's buy some Bloodhounds whiskey.
Yeah.
You see, copper, it's not whiskey. It's wait. Anyway, so the
Yeah, it's a tasteless whiskey. It's like the worst kind. This will get you drunk, but you can't taste it. Okay.
Tasteless whiskey, copper.
Well,
Yeah,
it's actually a good brand. Bloodhound tasteless whiskey. And sells at all liquor stores.
They'll start. It'll start appearing in episodes of Bar Rescue soon, and
Yeah.
Oh,
What do you recommend, bartender? I recommend Bloodhound tasteless whiskey. So good you can't even taste it.
You can add it to anything, and you'll not even notice.
You can even add the whiskey if you want. And wow.
We're totally not making this so kids can get drunk in high school. And
Yeah, exactly.
So I just wanted to let you know, Matt, that you can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind. Because your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine.
Okay.
Just wanted to let you know that.
Oh.
That song's been stuck in my head for like a week, so I just had to get it out.
Oh, I was wondering why you... Who was the band that did that song?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't know them.
Wait, was that Men Without Hats or something?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. Let me see.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's look this up, folks. Right on the air.
Yeah. Well.
Yep, Men Without Hats.
Okay, cool.
The safety dance. Yep.
Oh, the 80s, more optimistic time.
Yeah. Speaking of the 80s, on today's show, in our pilot error series, we are covering a pilot that aired in 1988 during CBS's Summer Playhouse, entitled Sniff. It was written by Bruce J. Friedman, directed by James Quinn. The main star of the show was my Facebook friend Robert Wuhl.
Really?
Yes.
He's your Facebook friend? I didn't know that.
No, yeah, he's my Facebook friend.
I mean, dude from Arliss, and
he's an amazing actor in stand-up and everything. Yeah. It's just he's probably the best part of this show. But I mean, I don't want to totally grade anybody involved with this, but there was something missing. Anyways,
I think he'll be all right. I mean, he was in Bull Durham, Arliss. He had that show where he was like talking about like the Revolutionary War or something like that back in.
And he's doing a lot right now too. I mean, he's been on a lot of podcasts. I actually asked him if he wanted to be on ours, but he said he's been too busy doing other ones. So I'm just saying, yeah.
Just figure that much, yeah.
I do appreciate him for actually responding to my message, though. So
right.
Some people just ignore me. So most people, and not just when I ask celebrities to be on our show. It's people in general just ignore me because nobody likes me, Matt.
Each comic gets more depressing. Keep twisting the knife.
Nobody loves me. Okay. Anyways, so so we also had in the cast as his dad, Nat. He starred as Sid Barrows. Then Louis Gus starred as Nat Barrows, his dad. We had Tracy Lind as Sharon, Rebecca Holden as Vanessa, Robin Curtis as Barbara, Edward Power as Blaine Sterling, Richard, not Rickard. That would be a cool name. If I ever have a child, I'm going to name him Rickard. Anyways, it starred Richard Rote. Oh my God, I can't read. Richard Rote as Gormley, Nancy Fish as Liz Gertz, and a bunch of other people. So, what happened in this episode here, Matt?
Oh man, it's kind of hard to even remember. It had like your really typical like 80s vibe to like a mystery, kind of like a murder mystery type of episode, and like I think they were trying to be like self-conscious of that fact, but it just didn't work well. Like I know like that's like a new thing these days to be like meta, like, oh, you realize that you're in a show type of thing, but it just didn't work. But yeah, there's like some modeling agency dude or something, and he gets killed. Forgot.
Yeah, because
for what reason?
Yeah, like Robert Will's character of Sid works at a newspaper. He's somehow sent to cover a story at this modeling agency or something, and what ends up happening is he's there. The story is just like some kind of boring story originally, but then there is a murder outside, witnessed by the victim's dog, who's also injured. And Sid leaves a note on the victim, because he's already dead, saying, "I didn't leave the scene of the crime. I had to leave the scene of the crime because there's an injured dog." You know, I'm going to use that next time I'm in a murder scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice guy. I mean, that's like a very pro, animal rights, theme in a 1988 episode. Like, hey, I got to fix this dog up. Okay. So I'm just going to leave this dead guy here with a note.
It's, I also wanted to mention, because the style of comedy on this, the writer of this also wrote Splash, the movie with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah. Also wrote another Tom Hanks movie, You Got Mail. Wrote the Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder movie, Stir Crazy. After this, he went on to write The Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller. He he's also created a TV series called Steam Bath in 1983. Yeah, he yeah, that's weird. Okay. Oh, he actually no, he wrote the original Heartbreak Kid. And so he was credited as a writer on the Ben Stiller one. So okay, because that was a remake. He also wrote Dr. Detroit with Dan Aykroyd, which is a good movie from the 80s.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had a good thing going here. Um, um, I yeah. So okay, we'll get into the stuff in a second here. Yeah. So after he goes and takes the dog to a vet, gets the dog taken care of, he ends up taking the dog home with him. The dog basically, because it's a bloodhound, knows who killed his master. And, yeah. What else happens here, Matt?
Take the dog back because he's like, he's like part of like the Bloodhound Association or some bullshit. I don't know. And then he was like, I think he was worked with the guy that got killed or whatever. And Sid's like, no, I'm going to keep the dog, blah, blah, blah. So they had that whole conflict going on in the episode. And, oh, God.
The dog kind of notices at the funeral, you can tell that the person that killed the guy was at the funeral.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, he takes him there, takes him everywhere. It's just like this weird montage where the dog's just dragging them everywhere. And we find out that it was actually a woman that had him killed or something.
Yeah, she wanted to own the modeling agency. During other scenes, there's like scenes where Sid is flirting with one of the models. And at the end of the episode, you think they're going to get together, but she ends up going off with some hot guy.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to his boss at the newspaper, and he's got the dog now. He owns the dog, and they basically are like, hey, you can start doing reporting with the dog. So I'm assuming that if this would have continued going, the concept of the show would have been them solving crimes / news stories together.
I guess. I mean, like, basically Turner and Hooch.
Yeah, because this came out shortly after Turner and Hooch. So
okay.
Which,
I mean,
another pilot we need to cover in the future is the Turner and Hooch pilot that starred Tom Wilson as Turner. Yeah, that Tom Wilson from Back to the Future, who played Biff.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in the Tom Hanks role.
Oh.
I saw that online, and I'm like, I need to cover this sometime.
Of course, they try to do a pilot of that as well.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's currently a Turner and Hooch TV series on Disney Plus right now. So, yeah.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Just a weird, like, I could see like what they were trying to do with the show, I think, but like especially like the whole self-awareness bit, like that's really popular now, and like a few shows tried that in the past, but not all of them really actually.
This didn't do it. This didn't do it enough.
Yeah, because there's one scene where like a lot of the '80s show back then, they had like this like saxophone with like a lot of reverb going. That was like a thing, and so like this show was like doing that, but then like at one point, Robert Rule's character Sid, he's like playing the saxophone. It's like, oh, I get it. It's him playing the saxophone in the background music that we saw, and just I'm like,
yeah, because it goes from being
like
non-diegetic to diegetic, in the episode,
Yeah.
So yeah,
and I was just like, and it's again, it's not his fault. I mean, a lot of things that we think might be the actor's fault in a show are actually not. It's because the director or someone else is like told them to do that.
Yeah, well, and the writing. No offense to Bruce J. Friedman, it was just there was something lacking. Like it was like he was afraid to go there. Like
yeah,
the thing is, it's like it almost like it was like okay, so like at this time period, you had before this stuff like police squad and stuff like that, and then went on to be like the Naked Gun movies. This almost felt like it wanted to be something like that, where it was almost like a parody type thing of, of a detective show or a newspaper reporter show or something like that. But it didn't quite go to the comic, absurdity that it should have gone to, in my opinion. Like, it might have worked, or it should have, I mean, basically, a better version of this is Chris Elliott's Action Family.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it basically felt like it wanted to be that, but it didn't, but it was afraid to do it. You know what I mean? Like they were holding back. And another thing, it sounds weird here, because normally I'm against laugh tracks in TV series. I think it needed a laugh track so we knew when it was funny.
Yeah.
As much as some shows, overuse the laugh track to tell you when something's funny, this kind of needed it.
Right. Yeah, for example, like when in Big Bang Theory, where like someone mentions a comic book and then somehow you get like 15 seconds of laughter because of you mentioned the character comic book.
This thing actually did have some funny parts, but it was hard to feel them because nobody was laughing. And it was just kind of like, am I supposed to find this funny or not? Like, you were almost like, I don't like being spoon-fed things, but at some points I'm just like, I need to know if I'm supposed to laugh at this or not.
Well, yeah, because that's the thing, that they time it for the laughs. See, that's the thing, a lot of stuff back then, I imagine that they would have actually timed things for a laugh track to be put into that place. So then you just have this 2 seconds of nothing.
And that's what it almost that's what it almost felt like with this. Like it was meant to have a laugh track, but they forgot to add it.
Maybe they did. Maybe we have a version that's so maybe we have the prototype version. Maybe they actually had a laugh track and the when it actually aired, because that whole summer, man. I mean, they had a lot of weird shows that didn't really last. The ones I watched was called Dr. Paradise, which
was that another CBS
it was.
thing?
And the thing is that there's literally nothing online to read about it other than IMDb. That's it. And so I was like, I can't even do any research on this because there's nothing to read. It's messed up when you think about how much information is on the internet that you couldn't find just one blog post or anything.
Well, there's nothing. There's nothing about this show really either, except for IMDb as well. So
I got a theory about that. Actually, I think there's more on the internet than what Google is letting people see now. I think because back in the day, I remember this is a whole other conversation, but I remember back in the day being able to find just really obscure stuff on the internet if I wanted to. And now it seems over the past few years that if it's not on the first 2 or 3 pages of Google, it's just, you're not going to find it. So I don't know if things are being intentionally just pushed really back.
Things are being pushed, like in forward on a lot of this stuff. I don't know about being pushed back, but I do think that that big Google is out to get Robert Wool. That's what it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously. Big Google. That's a good show right there. Big Google. It's about a...
Do you want to take one break here, Matt? We'll take one break and we'll come back and we'll talk about some more of this show before we wrap things up.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back, folks.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
Hi, this is Catherine, host of a new fashion podcast, The Real Fashion School Dropout. Join me as I interview guests every week in the fashion and beauty space, and we gossip on all things fashion and beauty, and even get into some personal stories of their journey in the industry. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Hope to see you there.
And we are back. Okay, Matt. So, yeah. This show.
It is a show.
It existed. There was one user review, I believe, on IMDb. Yes, one review. And I will read through this really quick here for you. Good grief, this is pretty awful. By Martin Haffer. On June 10th of 2020. So a little over a year ago. This is a 1 out of 10. Sniff is a failed pilot episode. In the late 80s, CBS decided to air many of its failed pilots using the umbrella title CBS Summer Playhouse, most likely to help them recoup the costs of making the shows. I've seen quite a few of these pilots, and some were very good and might have made excellent TV series or movie. And then there was crap like Sniff, a misguided show that makes you wonder who thought it was a good idea in the first place. Robert Wool stars as Sid, a guy who is in many ways a real jerk. His girlfriend just left him because of this, and he comes on to women like a jerk as well. This is a serious problem with the show. However, out of the blue, a man is murdered and his dog shot, and Sid finds the animal in pain. He takes it to the vet and later uses the dog to, I kid you not, solve his own owner's murder. This is an even more serious problem as it really makes no sense. Nor does it make sense when the murderer implicates themselves, even though the only proof is that a dog didn't like her. Apparently the show was made during a period when doggy detectives were the in thing, as soon after this dud was made, Turner and Hooch debuted. I didn't like the film, but it seems like an Oscar candidate by comparison. Yep.
Pretty harsh, but the part where because the dog didn't like her, like
Basically, that's it. Like they had no proof, and then she ended up admitting to it. It's like, okay,
yeah, because the dog didn't like you. But I will say though, I think he is wrong about the other part because bloodhounds, I mean, notoriously they have a great sense of smell. So like, I actually can see the logic of being able to smell the person who was there when the owner got shot. Not
I see that.
far fetched.
I see that logic, but they could just say, well, the bloodhound just doesn't like her too. They could be an excuse. They didn't use any kind of DNA evidence or fibers from the scene or anything that we've since seen people use in like CSI or Law and Order or something to solve the crime.
There's no case for arrest. Like they can't just call the cops because a dog didn't like you.
Yeah.
And then now we're gonna investigate you. No, there's no like.
I mean, he's not even a police dog or a detective dog. He's just a bloodhound that was owned by this modeling agency guy.
Right. So yeah, she had her gun in her purse, so she could have just like, oh, get away from me, stupid dog, whatever. Then she knows. Oh, I better be careful because, they are investigating this murder, so maybe I should just get rid of the weapon and just, throw it, not even throw it in the river, just dispose of it somehow in a better way.
Yeah, why would you, why, I mean, I'm sorry, but she was a stupid criminal. Why would you keep the gun that you shot somebody with?
Well, I don't even know if it was her that did, because it looked like it was like a guy who actually killed him, so...
But still, obviously, the gun in her purse was probably the murder weapon. But why
would you then have them return it to you? Whatever. It makes no sense at all. Like, I just murdered someone with a baseball bat. Oh, here's the bat, boss. Like,
yeah,
what? Like, no, get that away. I don't want any evidence. Go.
Yeah, burn it in a bonfire or something. Just get rid of it.
That's the other thing I never understood about these shows and movies. Like when someone just throws like the gun in the river, it's like, okay, I understand it's a big river, but like, wouldn't you want that thing like as far away as possible from like the crime scene? Like I mean, or not that I have. I'm just saying, if it were me, I would like travel like across the country just to throw it like in a different state. I'm not saying I've done it. I'm just saying that's what I would like. Just like O.J. Simpson said. I would do it.
So Matt, that time you traveled to California,
yeah,
right after that string of murders in town.
Well, I had it's a friend I was going to visit out there. I mean, think about it. I mean, I know it would take like forever to do something like that, but like if you just like took the gun apart. And you just like threw like one piece in like a trash can, like in a different state, and like you just zigzag.
Well, the thing is, you didn't even have to do it across state. There are plenty of dumpsters like in your town. If you want to, just take the gun apart, put one piece here, one piece there, or there's like ways to like just melt down the metal.
Just be a meltdown, and then
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm giving advice to murderers.
Well, no, it's just that it's not even advice. It's just basic logic. I mean, like, then again, I guess if you're like have a crime of passion, you're not really thinking, logic. Well, I guess that wasn't a crime of passion, but still,
yeah, because it seems slightly premeditated. So I mean, I'm just saying it wasn't.
It was. Yeah, it was premeditated because she had a motive and everything, but like it just seems like a lot of killers really aren't that smart. Well, I guess which is a good thing. You don't want them to be smart because then they'll be actually able to get away with it. But like you said, just melt the gun down into metal. They're not going to be able to trace it then. Or dissolve it in some kind of acid, like Breaking Bad style. Just make sure you have the right kind of tubs. Otherwise, the acid's going to
go right through it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like all these shows have taught people how to be criminals that they wanted to be.
I mean, a lot of these shows came out after this, though, so maybe this was before people.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but then again, you also had like tons of cop shows before this, like Dragnet and whatnot, and that would.
Right. Yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew from the get-go that it wasn't going to succeed, even if I didn't know the history of the show, just by the name alone. A show called Sniff
Yeah.
it's just not going to work. It could be the best. I mean, it could be like Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah. By the way, that the reason it was
Sniff,
called
like-
Sniff is because he decided to call the dog Sniff.
because his dad told him to name him Sniff for some reason.
Because that's what he does.
I'm like, just the word sniff.
Yeah, it's not a good word. It's not a good name for a dog either. It's like, here, Sniff. No. I don't know.
Wow.
Imagine if we were all just named after the stuff we do.
Like, eats or
Yeah.
or shower or now I can't think of like sniff. Just the word sniff.
I know.
Something about that word, I just don't like it. I don't like the way it sounds. Like there's words like moist. That's the thing that a lot of people don't like. To me, sniff is worse than moist. Just the way it sounds.
It's up there with moist and pop in my mind because I hate the word pop. I hate the word pop.
Yeah,
especially when you're referring to the soft drink.
Yeah, soda. I mean, I always call it soda.
I do too. But I'm okay though sometimes when you say something like popcorn, or
popcorn, yeah,
or even if you're calling some guy Pop, like, hey, what's up, Pop?
Like, hey,
yeah.
Hey, Pops,
yeah.
Hey, Pops. You know what's interesting about popcorn, right? So, like, I noticed that like a lot of the popcorn brands these days, they tell you not to use the popcorn button on to make popcorn, and it's like, why was the popcorn button invented when like it's like it literally serves no purpose at all. Like, it specifically tell you do not use.
It's almost like they reformulated it just to be assholes, so the popcorn button doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's like, but new microwaves are still making it with the popcorn button now.
Yeah,
I mean, I can understand if you had the old microwave. And like, oh well, they don't. But like, they're making new microwaves with that function, and then all the popcorn brands telling you do not use the popcorn buttons. It's almost like they're just like rubbing it in, like, ha ha ha, like you have no function here. Like,
I think it's Big Microwave trying to get Robert Wall. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
It's Big Microwave. Well, like like they what was her name? The Tales from the Crypt Keeper. I forget. She was one of Trump's people. I forgot her name. Whatever. Kelly something.
Kelly McEnany. Yeah.
Yeah. No, not her. It was before that. It was Conway.
Oh, Kellyanne
yeah.
Conway. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Tales from the Crypt person. That's what she looked like. And which I'm not trying to make fun of someone's looks, but you could definitely see her deteriorating from just being in that whatever. But like, she was saying that like Obama or like the CIA or whatever was able to take pictures of people from their microwaves, which that might actually be true. But just the idea that like they're like, but that's the popcorn button. So like what? That's the okay. So that's the reason why I see the popcorn brands. They're actually on the side of the people because it's like a cheap snack, stuff like that. So they know about the fact that if you hit the popcorn button, they're going to start spying on you. So that's why they say do not use the popcorn button.
So I should
whatever
stop.
You do not use.
I should stop eating. I'm heating up meals in my microwave while I'm naked. Then, right? If there's a camera in it, supposedly.
Yeah, I mean, I've never stood naked in front of my microwave.
Me either. But I'm just saying, I should just
microwave in the dining room and its windows. So I never really felt comfortable to do so.
Doesn't everybody just stand naked in front of their microwave?
No,
I do it even when I'm not cooking things. I just turn my microwave on and stand there naked, hoping that the radiation will somehow seep into me and I don't know grow my penis or something. No, I'm joking. No,
that's like a weird superhero beginning show. Just try to give myself radioactive.
That's for a whole other show, not called Sniff. It's called Stiff. And Jesus,
terrible.
I think we should probably start to wrap things up here, Matt. Would you recommend
Yeah.
Would you recommend anybody watches this episode?
No. Maybe if you could get a better quality version than what's on YouTube, maybe. But no, there's really nothing to it. I mean, it's not terrible, but there's just nothing that really jumps out at you. You know, it's just like a very boilerplate. You know, like, oh, let's just shove a bunch of TV shows we can this summer and see which one sticks, type of thing. No, because I mean, God, that was a summer they did. Was it? Well, did they do that every summer? Was it just a one summer thing, or was it?
It was for a few years that they did this.
Okay, so it was not the same years. It's like Malloy.
Yeah, because Malloy was on Fox. This was that actually aired for a few episodes. No, I think Shangri-La Plaza was part of the Summer Playhouse, which we covered.
Okay.
So yeah, which was a lot better than this. So
that was an interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the show just it was lacking is the problem. It could have been a lot better. If you happen to listen to this, Robert Wall, and you're still on my Facebook after this, and you didn't unfriend me, and you want to come on the show and talk about this episode, I would love to hear more like behind the scenes stuff and everything. So, just message me. But I doubt you're listening. Anyways, so folks, you can follow us on Facebook. Join our Facebook fan group, All Too Real 2 podcast group. Also, we're on Twitter and at Cullen Park. Cullen Park, you can check that out. We also are on Instagram under that. And All Too Real 2 podcast is on TikTok. Still haven't figured out what to do with that, folks. Let us know. And by the way, I am not doing a TikTok where I stand naked in front of a microwave. Just letting you know that ahead of time. Even though there might be TikToks out there of me standing naked in front of a microwave, because if there's cameras in there, maybe somebody did it. Anyway, so the big TikTok in their microwave camera conspiracies, and the whole thing. You can also get some cool T-shirts at our TeePublic. You can get help us out on Patreon. That's a good way to help the show if you like us. Best thing to do too is share the show. Tell your friends. Get somebody to listen to your favorite episode of the show. Just say, hey, here's this episode of All Too Real 2 that we really like, and Matt and Mike are funny in this one. Listen to it. And if you like them, check out their other episodes. It helps a lot, man. It helps a lot. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or wherever you can review us. That's it. Wear a mask, folks. Wear a condom, especially if you're standing naked in front of a microwave. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.